Welcome to the Through the Table podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Brock.
No, it was a good show. I mean, obviously Friday night set the tone for the weekend, which was unfrickin' believable. If you're a pro wrestling fan and you didn't find something this weekend to pull you, you're watching it.
Yeah, true.
I mean, yeah. There's a little bit for everybody.
It was unbelievable. Friday night, I mean, I'm still cobweb there. I'm still riding a high from Friday night.
Oh yeah,
unbelievable. We all knew it was coming. We talked about it before it even started. We all knew it was going to happen, but
I never had a doubt, not one doubt.
you are 75%, sir.
I've been editing
I
it.
was
You said that at least 20 times during the pod.
I mean, the second the music hit and it became real, I marked out more than I think I ever have in my life. And that pop we talked about Friday, what type of pop it was going to be.
Right.
That rivaled the Foley pop. That rivaled, you name the big pop you've heard, that rivaled it. That might have even rivaled the World Series pop that I heard at Fenway.
And that's probably a third of the crowd too.
I was definitely surprised that they just went right for it. I really thought they were going to do it the opposite way with, I thought it was going to be with Moxley and Garcia the main event.
Mm-hmm.
I figured that was because that was one of the things we talked about the other day was who's Mox going to wrestle at All Out now that Tanahashi's back in Japan. So it's I almost thought that's where they were going with it, figuring Mox beats Garcia, talks some crap, out comes CM Punk, but that was it. Nope, show starts, boom, that music hit.
It was amazing. And this is why I love Tony Khan, because Vince would have made you wait the 3 hours. Now, I agree it was an hour show Friday, but he would do it on a Raw where it was 3 hours, and he would make you wait until 10:58 until the person you were waiting for came out. Right. Tony Khan's like, no, the fans know he's going to be here. We've hyped this up. We're saying this is going to be an unbelievable show. We are not going to make you wait until 10:58. We're bringing him out right at 10 o'clock, and we're giving him an open mic. Let him say what he wants.
20 minutes.
Yep.
He went over. They wanted him to go about 15, but they weren't going to cut him. Obviously,
no. There's no way they're going to cut him.
They stripped. They cut Moxley's match up. It was supposed to go at least another 5 or 6 minutes.
See, honestly, that's why I thought they did that with Jade and Kiera Hogan, because that was maybe
it was only supposed to go about that.
Yeah.
In the Jurassic Express match against Private Party went the length it was. They just took it all out of Mox's match.
Which I kind of feel bad, and I'm sure he's getting pissed in the back, knowing he's got X amount of time, but you also have to look at the moment too and realize that, no offense to anybody in that locker room, but you're playing second fiddle to what CM Punk's doing at the start of the show.
Yeah, they told him just go out and do it. Doesn't matter how long it goes. I mean, you can do whatever you need to get back on time if you have to. But,
plus, it's if they're cutting Mox's match, it's Daniel Garcia.
That's right. That's probably what they were figuring. He's been there 3 or 4 weeks now. That's okay.
Mox just kind of beat him up real good and call it a day.
He'll make it up for Mox too. I mean, that's
for sure.
But what a night Friday night was. That was one of the most unreal experiences, and the fact that he's challenging Darby Allin, he's not jumping to the head of the line.
Yep.
He's not going right after Kenny Omega. You got to love that because he's going, with a young kid.
Yeah.
He's trying to help a young kid. And I loved what he said about how in, 2005, August 2005, he left professional wrestling because he did.
Right.
WWE, Vince McMahon will tell you they are not a wrestling company. They are an entertainment company.
Mm-hmm.
So from 2005 until 2013, he was in an entertainment company. They do not allow you to say pro wrestling.
No.
He's now back in a pro wrestling company.
Exactly.
So I thought it was fantastic. There was nothing wrong with it.
Even Jim Cornette agreed.
Yeah.
That-
Jim Cornette. Something good.
He said it was done perfectly. He wouldn't have changed a thing. And it's like, what? Jim Cornette? Wow.
The fact that he's going to be wrestling 10 to 12 matches
at least that
a
one
year,
part of it.
Yeah. The fact he's wrestling 10 to 12 matches a year, he's going to be there every week. He's not just a part-timer. He's actually going to, he plans on mentoring the younger guys. Whether that happens or not, different story, but at least the plan is there. How could you not like this?
I can see him do everything he said he was going to do. Why not? It's only going to make the company stronger.
Yep. And the thing about him too, once he's done actually in ring performing, bye Excalibur. There's your color commentator.
Well, Excalibur will be play-by-play at that point.
I'll say Excalibur. They'll keep him for like Dark or Elevation or.
Well, that's the reason he's around now is because Tony and JR have no idea who half these people are, so that's why Excalibur has to go off because JR's like, who? Huh? What? Oh, he does, but they decide to change the names and not tell them all the time, which makes everybody look stupid.
Tony Schiavone's just happy to be there. He's like, this is
really
great, guys.
He's just there to say Sting.
It's like, I came back after a long absence. No one cared about me. No, Tony, they didn't.
Everyone loves Tony.
I thought, though, Friday night that AEW could do no wrong. I told you guys in the podcast Friday, no matter how this went, the WWE had a tough act to follow.
Yep.
And they did actually a damn good job Saturday night. I will say that right now. They did a good job Saturday night. It was actually a decent show, but there was a lot of stuff that I had a problem with. I thought the Edge Rollins match was a 4-star match. It was fantastic. Good back and forth.
Probably I was going to say that was my second favorite match of the weekend.
What was the first?
First was Ilya versus Walter from NXT last night.
Yep.
God, that was just unbelievable. Just like, I don't know if you saw any pictures of Ilya's
I did.
chest. Just hamburger meat. His
it
whole
was
chest just
awful.
looked like ground meat. Oh, and
I could feel it.
And he busted his he like split his eye open.
That was on the
Tuesday.
NXT TV show, right?
Yeah,
on
against
Tuesday,
Roddy.
right? Yep.
Roddy botched a belly to back suplex and
Yeah.
busted him open. But even just with like that combined with just, you know what I mean? Like it was a war. That's I don't know how else you could describe it. It was just unreal. Like that was the match I was looking forward to the most this weekend.
Well, a lot of people are calling that the match of the year so far.
I don't remember because with the pandemic, everything kind of runs together. I don't remember if their first match was last year or if it was this year. I can't remember, but that was easily like my favorite match of the past. I mean, I guess 2 years. Like it's that they can do no wrong together, I think, and I really hope they pull like a third.
I'm sure they will.
Rubber match.
If they're still involved in NXT.
That's true.
Well, I mean,
there's rumors that NXT UK is basically going to be done with very soon.
Right.
And Walter will not come to the United States.
I was just going to say that. I don't know what's his whole thing, if he wants to work in the U.S. or
no. He has family, he has kids, and he runs the wrestling school for Rev Pro and IPW. And he said that's his full-time job. He has no problems coming here for a match or two or for even a couple of weeks at a time. But he's not moving his family out of Austria. He says it's just not happening. He told them that when he signed the contract. So if they're getting rid of NXT UK, I mean, he could come in as an attraction, but that'd be it. He wouldn't be coming here full time. Right. So I don't know. I'm wondering if that had part to do with the title change.
I bet you it did. Because I was going to say, like, especially if they're going what they say they're doing, and it's all going to be, like big dudes from now on and stuff like that. Like, Walter's not jacked by any means, but he's definitely someone that you'd be dumb not to try to get on your roster full time.
Right.
Like, I feel like he's, probably one of the best wrestlers going today.
Oh, for sure. I saw him in Evolve a couple of times. Just watching him live and on TV, it's totally different seeing him live. You could feel the shots. Almost like the wind from it. It's like, whoa. It's like he's big hitter, He's a big guy. It's no doubt about it. He's what they would look for.
I would say he slimmed down too. He looked a lot slimmer last night than I've seen him in the past.
Yeah, he did.
I thought the Reigns Cena match was pretty good too. That was another one that was halfway decent. It'd be in the top 5 of the weekend. It was good. Goldberg just.
Well, it's Goldberg for you.
So I completely skipped that match. I went outside and did other things. So
I was gonna watch the match, but then I got high.
So I know Goldberg got hurt. Was that legit, or was that a storyline injury?
I think it was a storyline injury, and so this is what I want to get into. I was going to wait for Russ to get on to get into the couple things from Saturday night that I thought were the.
Russ is coming on very shortly. He just said something.
Okay.
So we can get to that in a minute.
I think it was a storyline injury, but
it looked like it, from what they've been reporting after the match and all that. It seems like it is.
It had to have been, because MVP hit him with the cane, and literally 30 seconds later he reacted to it. It was almost like someone yelled to him, "Dimwit, you've been hit with a cane. React."
Yep.
And he finally did, because they showed it in slow motion, and it was even worse. The cane clearly strikes him. He's still ready to go, and then
Oh God! Like when Fear would take the bump, like 2 minutes after he got hit.
Yes. Yes.
That's what that reminds me of. There you go.
Joe and Goldberg are on the same level. That should sum it all up for everybody, folks.
Who would you rather work with?
Joe.
Nice.
I made it through a match with him unscathed. Barely.
Well, I saw Goldberg almost killed Lashley on the dump off the top rope there.
Yep.
Oh,
that was scary.
I'm trying to remember that moment.
You don't remember that part?
We were talking about how obviously Friday night was amazing. There was a lot of great moments Saturday night. The Rollins and Edge match might have been the best match of the night. Reigns and Cena was actually really, really strong. The next night, the Walter match was probably the match of the year. So just to catch you up with where we're at right now. Eventually, I'm going to get into the things I didn't like about Saturday night. And I'm curious where you're at, because I know you're a little bit more pro WWE than I'm at. So I'm just kind of curious where everybody's actually at in that. So if you'd like, I can jump in on that now. That's a decent transition.
Yeah, I would say jump in, and then I'll jump in from what you say. I was at SummerSlam this weekend, and I was in Vegas for a couple days, witnessing some tryouts for some upcoming potential superstars. I had a bunch of interviews from everybody from Riddle to The Miz, to Rhea Ripley to Bianca, to everybody. So, and then I was also at the show. So I had my feet on the ground, so I can speak on that after we hear from what what you guys have to say.
I mean, I said at the very beginning of the show that I thought that you had to find, if you're a wrestling fan, you had to find something that you loved over this weekend. This was probably one of the best weekends for professional wrestling, start to finish, in a very, very long time. There was something for everybody to mark out about. There was something that you had to enjoy, whether it was CM Punk Friday night, which is seriously one of the greatest wrestling moments, not without actually wrestling, one of the greatest wrestling moments in a long time. Saturday night was a really good show. Last night was a really good show. There had to be something, but there was still a couple of things on Saturday night that just kind of left me hanging a little bit. The end of the Goldberg match is one of them. You know, you've got this marquee matchup, and you've always booked Goldberg, even back in WCW, as this indestructible, you know, monster of a guy. He reacts to the cane 30 seconds after it actually happens. The slow-mo they showed doesn't do him any favors, and he can't continue the match. I know they're going to build something to that, but usually on your second biggest pay-per-view, you've already done the building to that point, not set up the second biggest pay-per-view to build somewhere else. Strange how they did that. And the other issue that I had, Becky Lynch coming back is fantastic, amazing. The women's division needed that. What the women's division didn't need was this. It's, you know, Sasha Banks isn't here. It's going to be Carmella coming out. Nope, sorry, it's going to be Becky Lynch coming out. And we're going to squash the champion who has been one of your best people in the last 4 or 5 months. We're going to squash her in 2 minutes, less than that.
36 seconds, actually.
36 seconds, and send her along her way. Best tweet of the night, by the way, was WWE Creative Humor after that match. Yes. Tweeted out that, don't worry, Bianca, Seth Rollins lasted less with Becky Lynch than you did. Those are my two biggest issues, though, is just the ending of the Goldberg match and kind of putting Becky Lynch in that spot. I'm a big fan of, if someone comes back, you kind of build them back up a bit. You don't just hand them the title right away. It's why the CM Punk thing Friday night worked as much as it did. I didn't like it. That's
so when I heard Becky's music hit, I was like, okay, you know, like I really thought Becky would come down. She beats up Carmella. I figured that was going to happen.
Sure.
And then I figured Becky and Bianca would have this, 15, 20-minute banger of a match.
Mm-hmm.
Finish is about to happen. Carmella shows back up. You know what I mean? You cause a DQ somehow. Becky doesn't get the belt. She goes off of Carmella. You build her back up. That's what I figured was going to happen. At least, everybody was assuming that Sasha was going to be there. Bianca and Sasha, probably one of the better matches at WrestleMania this year. I think a lot of people were hoping for that, quote unquote, work rate kind of match. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody was pumped that Becky was back, but once she just beat Bianca in 36 seconds, I feel like you just kind of put her in the Charlotte territory of where it's just like, oh God, Charlotte, here we go again. Charlotte mm-hmm. wins again.
Yep.
All this stuff, and that's like, and that's what it is. I feel like you just took your most over female that you've pretty much ever had. With the exception of Playboy era Sable, you know what I mean? Like, but it's probably your most popular female that you've had in a long time, and you turned her into like America's Most Wanted. So
the other issue I had, and you actually, I want to piggyback off what you just said, because you just said, oh, Charlotte wins again. And like I said, it was a great show. If I really want to nitpick, it's the same old, the same old people. Mm-hmm. We're not building the young stars. We're not bringing them to the next level. Charlotte wins again. Well, you have Rhea, who's a young and up and coming star. Nikki finally has an opportunity. Let's just give it to Charlotte again. Same old, same old. Cena in the main event. Same old, same old. Goldberg out there. Same old, same old. Becky Lynch is back. We're going to give her the title instead of the young up and coming 22-year-old phenom who's better than most of the roster already.
Yep.
It just felt to me like it was a lot of status quo. Again, great night of wrestling. Amazing card. It worked out better than I expected it to be. These are just my 3 issues with it. I really wish that they would take some of these younger people and put them in spots that are going to benefit them and the company. AEW did it with Orange Cassidy. You have him main eventing a pay-per-view against Kenny Omega. There's a guy that probably isn't ready for that spot, wasn't ready at the time, but A, made it work, B, looked incredible in the match, and now you've built him up to the next level. So it's not inconceivable if he goes for the title again down the road. Did that with Jungle Boy on a Wednesday night.
Yep.
These are things that they're doing that's building up these younger people. So a year, 2, 3 down the road, when they're main eventing and they're actually winning titles, it makes sense.
Right.
I'm worried for the WWE in a sense because there isn't that young gun that you can be like, this is the person for the next 5-6 years. And to compound upon that, the Cenas and the Goldbergs come back after all these years. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now, who on this current roster are we going to be excited about that comes back to main event of SummerSlam?
No one.
Because there's always somebody from any generation. And I thought long and hard about this. Are we going to give a crap if Roman Reigns comes back in 10 years? Is that going to move the needle? Is Bobby Lashley going to move the needle? Is Drew McIntyre going to move the needle? Who in their late 40s, early 50s coming back are we going to be like, oh my God, one more match of this guy?
And there's, like I said, there's really nobody. And it's one of those things that I brought up on an earlier pod where it's like, there's nobody in WWE that's bigger than the WWE.
Yep.
You know what I mean? They're already announcing Money in the Bank for next year. I mean, I know tickets aren't on sale or anything, but you know what I mean? You already have Money in the Bank, at this, at the wherever in Las Vegas. It's like it's another destination pay-per-view.
Yep.
No one cares who's on it, but it's just the WWE's throwing a pay-per-view in Vegas. You know what I mean? Like it's WrestleMania, but same thing. It's like you don't go to WrestleMania to see. I mean, you go to see the wrestling, but at the same, like, you're not just like, oh, it's, I paid this much money to see Bobby Lashley. I paid this much money, like back in the day, it's like we paid to see Hulk Hogan, we paid to see Stone Cold, we paid to see The Rock, and now it's just you go to see the WWE. You don't. There's no stars.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like where it's like, and on the other side of the coin, you have AEW where you kind of have that now with Punk, and for a bit, you could say that there was, Kenny and the Bucks, like when they first started, it was, they were, pretty big, but, it's just like, that's what it is. There's nobody's bigger than the company that they work for now. Like AEW, I get it. It's like there's that ECW, us versus them, like we're all a team, mentality, like we have to make this work.
Right.
But with the WWE, it's just you're a cog in the machine. You do what we tell you to do, and that's it. If you don't like it, see you later.
Oh yeah, they'll get rid of you.
Well, on all those notes, what would you like me to start with?
Wherever you want.
Whatever you want.
Jump in.
I mean, I could start anywhere. Just throw something, and I'll catch it and throw it back at you.
We'll start with the Becky and Bianca fiasco.
All right. Well, throughout the night, I was in the press box, which was above all the fans, but it was an open press box. Sometimes press boxes will have the plexiglass in front of you, so you can't really hear the fans.
Mm-hmm.
But at least in Allegiant Stadium, they have it wide open, so you can feel the energy. The acoustics weren't very good. Like when anybody were to talk at all, it just like the echoes were just like you couldn't hear anything.
Right.
But when that happened throughout the press box, like maybe 10 minutes before, someone said people are reporting that Sasha isn't here. So, but then they kept saying the match is coming up. The match is coming up. So it was just like, what's happening? What's happening? So it was interesting that like people just had no idea, which is fine. And I think that like people had in their mind that Becky might be showing up in some realm of possibility. And to fast forward things, I think with Becky winning so fast, I think it was all along that Becky was going to show up, but they were hoping that Sasha would be able to make it and maybe Becky would come out at the end. And obviously she has some ring rust to where she won't be able to wrestle a long match or anything like that. But so they had the hot shot, the victory kind of thing. And a lot of people were definitely disappointed that Bianca lost in that fashion. It just kind of, I mean, Carmella took the steam out of the building, but
It came across like that on TV. Yeah. It was just it was a big popcorn fart.
Yeah, but what I think WWE did well was really just like dive into it, and because there was a point where it was just like, we're actually going to get this Carmella Bianca match, and it's going to be like 3 minutes, and Bianca is going to just leave, and then that's it. And then that made the Becky entrance to come in, but everybody was definitely disappointed. I think if they wanted Becky to win, she should have done it, and wanted to have her win that fast, she should have done it faster, because Bianca's out there all this time, disappointed that she's not fighting Sasha. Then she has to have in her mind that Carmella's in the ring. But Becky coming out should have been faster, and maybe Carmella hits and roll up or something like that. But like Bianca had so much time to still be rattled, but still be like, okay, this is business. I'm not gonna lose in 26 seconds, 36 seconds. So it was weird, but like the fans in attendance ultimately liked what happened. Besides Becky winning so fast. So if they just did it like 3 minutes or 4 minutes match, maybe, or if they did it quicker for Becky to get to the ring to kind of like do a weird thing, then I think that would have worked. So they could have nailed it. They almost nailed it, but they didn't. But it should be very interesting to see what's going to happen, because rewind to a situation where Daniel Bryan lost in less seconds to Sheamus years ago.
7 seconds, yep.
And people were pissed about that. And then look what it did to Daniel Bryan.
It just the most over thing in like the history of wrestling at that point.
Right. So I think people like Bianca And as much as it sucks that she lost, I think this could be now her version of the, yes movement. Depending on what happens. They're not going to boo Becky on Friday or anything like that. But I talked to Montez Ford afterwards at the SummerSlam after party, and he was definitely disappointed. There was a bunch of people that were disappointed. So they were all feeling it. So
when do you think that decision came? That it's like, all right,
minutes before she went out there.
You think so?
That's what they've been saying. Vince told her like about 5 minutes before the match how it was going to go down. It was supposed to be Carmella and Bianca fighting and Becky coming out, just having a brawl. Vince decided, no, everyone needs to see her win the title and like as quick as possible in his head. And they were all fighting with him about it. And he's like, nope, I'm the boss. I decide how it goes.
So let me throw this up. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think that was like, not like retaliation, but do you think that was a conscious effort after the CM Punk thing the night before? Like, I feel like
could be.
You had Becky return and win the belt and Brock come back at the same time.
I guess Brock was never even coming until Saturday morning. He called him up after Dynamite or Rampage was over, and the deal came about at like midnight. So they had nothing with Brock until after he saw what happened on the show. Becky was supposed to be there, but I think he changed it, obviously last second.
Because usually they wouldn't do something like that. Two returns like that in the same. So that I feel like that was like a knee-jerk reaction.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It feels like that would be the case with Bianca learning late in the game, because earlier in the day I was at the Park MGM where a lot of the wrestlers were either staying or they had kind of like this check-in area where they could get breakfast and get to their shuttle and kind of thing. And earlier in the afternoon, Bianca came in and she was all in a good mood. Why not? You're at SummerSlam and she's in a good mood. But afterwards, she was on the carpet and you could see the disappointment. And you could see the disappointment with Montez Ford. I asked the Miz what he would tell Bianca, and he said just like make it a learning experience, because this is going to happen to her again. But she can turn it into a good, because Miz has seen his fair share of ups and downs as well. So and I didn't get to talk to Nikki Bella, but like Nikki Bella apparently
she went off about it.
She didn't like it either.
Nope. Not at all.
Yeah.
So why have Carmella come out in the first place? Because if you're gonna have Becky Lynch come back, just have her music. Yeah. Why have Carmella come out? That was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Then you knew that Bianca thought she was going over because originally she was supposed to. That whole outfit of hers with the championships all over her looked pretty damn stupid after she lost. as a baby face, it looked real stupid after she lost. Now that's a heel move. Have the Rick Rude would have the Intercontinental title spray painted on his tights, and it didn't matter if he won or not. He's a heel. The baby face never usually does that and loses. So that's how you can tell she had zero clue this was going to go down, because I don't think she would have had that outfit made up for SummerSlam. She probably would have gone in a different direction.
Oh, she could have had another one, right?
Yeah, but why have Carmella even come out?
And also before that, speaking of outfits, that new shirt that Cena had, I thought was really cool. But
the Punk rip-off one?
Yeah, it's a complete rip-off from CM Punk.
But I was convinced with that shirt that he was going to win. And a lot of people were convinced with that shirt that he was going to win. So it's interesting that we bring up, shirts or outfits or ring gear or anything like that, because usually change of ring gear means you're losing the championship or winning the championship, or you're expecting something from it. I initially thought that they were going to give it to Cena, and that was going to be the hot shot. I was not expecting Lesnar.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the crowd was expecting Lesnar. I think the crowd definitely expected Becky in some fashion.
Yeah.
I don't know when the show ended, but
Past midnight.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was supposed to end by 11.
But did they show Lesnar coming back? And
No.
So yeah, Lesnar came back and just like killed Cena.
They didn't show any of that.
Okay.
They made tonight or Friday or whatever, but
Right.
they didn't show it on the feed.
Now, does anyone think that maybe Cena was supposed to win, and then with the whole Punk thing, and then Brock calling them at, making a deal at midnight, flying out that morning? Do you think that might have had something to do with how just everything went down?
I wouldn't be surprised one bit.
I think it's more that Brock and Roman are gonna be fighting in Saudi, and then obviously Cena has to leave. So
Cena has one show left and he's gone.
Right.
I think Madison Square Garden.
Right. And before The Rock has a chance to come and do something at the Royal Rumble or do something to get to the WrestleMania match with Roman, I think especially and with the Goldberg match, a lot of people were very surprised that it went as long as it did.
Oh, yeah.
We everybody thought it was going to just be like a minute and then just that was that. But I think that's going to be a rematch in Saudi Arabia where Goldberg might then win there. So who knows?
I think the Taliban taking over Afghanistan is less of a debacle than Goldberg winning the title in the Middle East.
Not much to get on that one. I mean, nope. He went up there before, didn't he?
Sure did. He's the worst thing to happen in the Middle East. And there's a lot of history in that region. There's a lot of bad things that have happened there. They've killed Christ, and yet Goldberg is the worst thing to happen there.
Please tell us how you really feel.
Stinks, and I don't like it.
Is there a T-shirt there? Yeah, T-shirt. Pro wrestling tees.
It'll crash the site again.
Which, my biggest thing, going back to what you were talking about with Becky and Bianca there, is how can they get her back if they're going to feud with each other? There's no way Becky's going to drop the belt back to her. I just don't see how they're going to rebound from her if they're going to keep them together.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to me.
She becomes like Bray Wyatt again, where you have this white hot person who gets hot shotted into a loss and
they're just going to kill her off, basically. Away. Yep.
And this is why they don't have any young stars.
Don't get it.
They do have the draft coming up, though. They have the draft coming up. You could always
so she can go over and job to Charlotte.
I guess yeah.
I mean, right now, if you look at the rosters where Brock and Becky are SmackDown, Fox is all excited. USA is probably pissed off because there's nobody on Raw. No one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Drew McIntyre. Jinder Mahal can only carry so much.
Well, they want to move Drew to SmackDown.
Right. If he moves to SmackDown in October, what are you doing? Are you going to flip over, say, your favorite, Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens? And I mean, they're not going to push the needle for Raw at all.
So, I mean, you got
Seth Rollins is going to go back again. He was just there for a few years. Like, I don't know what they're up to. They've screwed things up.
He won't go back now. The reason why Becky's on SmackDown to begin
with. Oh, yeah, no, right. But I'm just saying, like, who could they move over to Raw that would actually balance the rosters out?
Well,
Apollo Crews.
Big E will move to Raw, I bet.
I would say after last night too, you had Karrion Kross lost to Joe. I'm sure he's on his way up to the main roster.
Oh, he's already there, right? But you heard what happened after, right? No. Where they were chanting Hardy and goodbye, na 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 na, goodbye, Adam, and they were giving him a whole bunch of crap, and he was like almost like walking with his head down to the back and everyone was clapping for it. It's like, wow.
When he came out to do his entrance and Scarlett wasn't there,
Mm-hmm.
and immediately the whole crowd started chanting, "We want Scarlett."
Yep.
And you could just see in his face, like, it, and I knew he was losing because as soon as he went into the ring and he does he beats his chest to his music,
Mm-hmm.
they just totally cut away from it. Just put the camera on Samoa Joe
Wow.
the whole time, and I'm like, and as soon as that happened, I said, "Oh, Joe's winning this," and it was just, I personally don't like him, but at the same time, you know what I mean? I guess, some
they
people
did him
like
dirty.
him. They definitely did him dirty.
They did him dirty, and then he's still being paid by them. He's still under contract. They're bringing him up to the main roster, and they did him dirty. They did Bianca Belair dirty. They're doing all of these young stars. They're just doing them dirty, and I don't understand why. And this is why I've been siding more on the AEW side, because they're not doing their young stars dirty. They're trying to build them up. It's a completely different show where they focus more on the wrestling, and they'll tell you they're a pro wrestling company, whereas Vince will tell you they're an entertainment company. But they focus more on the wrestling and the ring work and everything like that. Yeah, they're going to be doing flippity flips, but there's a story involved with it. Now, what made Rollins and Edge such a great match, it was a story. It told a story.
Right, exactly.
And it was the first match in the WWE in a long time that I can sit back and remember watching and be like, holy crap, they're finally getting it. This is telling a story beginning to end. You can feel the emotion in the match. You don't get that on a Monday night. You don't get that on a Friday night until 10 o'clock rolls around. You get it on Wednesday nights.
Yep.
But you don't get it Monday or Friday between 8 and 10. You just don't.
Yeah.
And call us Marks all you want.
Hey,
Fine.
Mark.
Hi. But fine. I mean, I get that. But we became wrestling fans because of the wrestling.
Yep.
I became a wrestling fan because I used to watch Ric Flair do his work in the ring, and I thought this was unbelievable. I saw him work with the Von Erichs and was like, wow, this is absolutely amazing. I want to do this.
Yeah.
I never really gave too much of a crap about the storylines until later on. It was the in-ring work. And this is why when I say that I think Vince has lost his way, he's lost stuff off the fastball. This is why I say that, because they don't care as much about the in-ring work. It's the build, it's the storyline, and it's hot-shotting these things and all of this. And man, like I said, the Rollins Edge match was like a revival. It was almost like a nostalgia match. It was a throwback to the way things used to be there.
It's unlike what they've been doing.
A really, really, really good match, and it started immediately from the beginning with the Brood music, and it was just awesome.
The fact that they had 46,000, I know they said 51, but 46,000 people popping to the Brood music, that's something to be said right there.
Right.
Yeah, it was pretty packed in there. 46, 50, whatever.
It was 46. They said 51 something.
Right. It was pretty packed. The couple notes, the DJ that they had, where everybody was just kind of like, who the hell is this guy kind of thing. He was actually pretty awesome. He kind of opened up the show as people were going in. Apparently, though, what happened was the concessions went down during the show.
It's all cashless, and everything died.
Everything died. Where they were giving out free food, and they were giving out. I could only imagine that being a Raiders game, not being able to get beer.
It's like they never left Oakland.
You know what? No, wait. I figured this out. Vince is like, oh, they're going to give away free ice cream last night. Well, we're going to shut down the vendors here, and we're going to give away free food.
Forget the bathrooms didn't work either.
Right. No. I'm glad I was where I was at, because they had food and bathrooms. So
for over 2 hours, nothing worked. You
So
couldn't
is that-
buy anything because everything was cashless now.
Was that like the first big thing that they've had at that stadium?
No,
Yeah.
I think they may have had a
there's been a couple of concerts, I believe.
This might have been the biggest thing that they've
I
had
was gonna
because
say,
remember
but-
it opened during last season when no fans were allowed.
Right? Yeah.
if you're hearing fart noises,
Oh,
the
maybe.
intern is an elusive fart noise on the podcast may be from one of
That's
our
fine.
interns this time around at least.
Yeah, it's pretty wild that like I was reading that toilets overflowing and all the cashless, stuff not working, and
Mhm.
It's
that,
like
that
they
was
never
my
left Oakland.
Right, exactly.
It's a weird setup because like it's not necessarily difficult to get there, but it kind of is. There's kind of like a bridge to get there. Like if you've ever been to Las Vegas, the Mandalay Bay is the best way to get there from. And the first kind of casino that you get to would be the Mandalay Bay from the stadium. So they have this kind of like bridge / road that they just cut off. And it's easy per se, but I mean, like, luckily it wasn't like super hot or anything like that, but like,
Right.
it could have been easier. Parking, they don't have much parking. So I don't know if there's any, at least for a Raiders game, I don't know if there's any pre-gaming, outside or anything like that. So, I mean, it's a beautiful stadium, but it has some kinks to overthrow.
Better get it figured out soon. Football's about to start.
Exactly. And then Money in the Bank next year. July 4th weekend, though. So people are going to be out there.
Oh, the intern like that.
What about Russ? How did you feel about Friday night?
Well, I watched it on my phone because I was walking from the tryouts that the WWE had, and I couldn't get to my room in time, and it was and I was in a casino, so I just put my headphones on,
Mhm.
and I think like a lot of everybody, you didn't know what was going to happen, but you kind of know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I think everything went really, really as well as possible. Just like the raw emotion was there. The fan pop, just like little bits and pieces of him jumping into the crowd, the sign that said, "If CM Punk is here, we riot," which was clever.
Yeah.
And just like him talking about things and doing the sit down thing, the pipe bomb moment, and then the ice cream.
Mhm.
It was all well done. It was interesting to see Darby Allin because like it looked like he was trying not to smile.
Oh,
He
definitely was. Right.
Yeah.
like
For sure.
what like a moment that he has too,
Mhm.
to be and then Punk's first line is putting over somebody else,
Britt Baker. Yep.
right? And I mean, but what is this going to do to Darby Allin? It's going to help him, but
Oh yeah.
Punk can't lose that match.
Oh, he's not going to.
No.
Right,
It's okay. Darby can take a loss. It's not going to be like a 2-minute match.
right,
I'm assuming it's going to main event the show. I mean, how can it not?
yeah,
I don't think I've seen CM Punk this legitimately happy in a wrestling ring. I can't tell you the last time. And if you look at some of the WWE stuff, especially 2012 you kind of see a lot of forced stuff, a lot of, he should have won an Oscar for some of the stuff he was doing in those days.
Right. Mm-hmm.
He legit looked happy Friday night. Like, he looked comfortable. He looked relaxed. Even the bags under his eyes weren't as bad as they used to be.
Right.
Looks like he might have actually been sleeping lately. He looked happy. He looked legit happy. And that was refreshing to see, because then you start to realize, wow, I don't think he was ever happy in the WWE. And some people just aren't. We all grew up thinking that that's where we ended up having to go. Like, that was if we were ever going to be successful in wrestling, it was with Vince. It was going there. Why I love AEW as much as I do right now, and why I love professional wrestling in 2021, there's other places to go.
Right.
That doesn't knock the WWE.
No.
Because they're still a very, very much a destination. They're still the New York Yankees of professional wrestling. But there's other teams coming up now. You don't just have to go to the WWE and wallow in misery if you're not happy.
Yep.
Because this is where you have to be, and you spent your entire life getting there, and you're there.
Right.
There's other places to go to now, and that to me is the most exciting thing about the business right now in 2021, going into 2022.
Yeah, I was sorry. I was just going to say LeBron is taking his talents to Miami. Like, people are taking their talents to AEW.
Mm-hmm. Like, I was just watching was it the Major Wrestling Figure Pod, one of their videos on YouTube, and they were just at like a signing, and Matt Cardona was kind of saying how, like, when they would do Access or whatever, they didn't make any money off of Access and WWE. You know what I mean? It was just WWE tells you go there, you sign all these autographs, that's it. You don't get anything. Now it's like where he goes to indie shows and conventions, and he's charging money for autographs, and like, it's just, there's never been a better time to be an independent wrestler.
Right.
Like, just the fact that you don't necessarily need to be with a major company to actually make a decent living in wrestling to, like, nowadays.
Right.
And so it's plus with the whole, just with the internet, you can, whether it's Fight TV or, Peacock, independent wrestling TV, there's just, New Japan app. There's just so much just wrestling right at your fingertips. You know what I mean? Like, just right on your phone.
Exactly.
And it's not to say that WWE's like a bad place to go. Some people that's still their dream.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But now that, they don't, I guess, necessarily have to have their dreams crushed if they never make it to the WWE, because who knows, maybe they could be the next big thing in AEW or Ring of Honor or New Japan. And
that's the thing too, because it's like, along with the taking their talents to AEW LeBron reference, LeBron then went back, and now LeBron is with the Lakers. So he did this and then went back. So I think maybe in the future, the WWE is going to be rewarded by what AEW is doing, because an MJF or Jericho returning for one more match, or anybody, Britt Baker, whoever you want to put in those lines of any of that, could then go to WWE and be like the Jeff Jarrett moment when he came from WCW or anything like that. So now kind of like the keys are, or the ball is in their court, to keep it with the basketball references.
I told my buddy the other night that it's going to be awesome to see Hangman Page versus MJF highlighting SummerSlam 2028.
It'll happen. MJF has to go to the WWE. I think it has to happen. 5-10 years from now, something, who knows, but he'll be
You
there.
never know. If WWE sells in 2 years, it might not be a destination anymore anyone wants to go to.
And this is why I criticize the WWE a lot on this podcast, but honestly, I want them to right the ship because we're in a day and age right now. You see this weekend. This weekend was a wrestling fan's wet dream of action. It was unbelievable from Friday. We don't have Raw on now. Half hour into it, I forgot that it was Monday. But typical moment of the podcast, this and mentioning Joey Janela. I did it all in 10 seconds, folks.
You got to get our Joey reference in.
Just like Seth Rollins, I did it in 10 seconds. So this was an unbelievable weekend of wrestling, and I just want the WWE to, maybe the problem is Nick Khan. I don't know, but stop messing with the product and A, assuming that we as fans are stupid, and B, that we don't deserve better because they're starting to become better out there. Do they have the promotional machine that you have? No. Do they have the resources that you have? For the most part, no. Tony Khan's got a lot of money, but for the most part, no. But the product is becoming better. Saturday night gave me glimpses of what the WWE used to be and could be again. But then the reality is right now at 8:30, we're not watching it. I completely forgot it was on. And I'm sure it's the same old, same old.
Well, right now it is a tag team match. It is Sheamus and Bobby Lashley against Drew McIntyre and Damian Priest. The Sheamus Damian Priest match was pretty good too on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree with that. But wow, what a weird tag team match.
Right. So yeah, that's what's happening right now. But there is something to say about the new regime, the Nick Khan situation. I definitely talked to a few people this weekend that are with the company that don't know what's happening. Not in a bad way, not in a good way. It's just kind of like what's gonna happen next. It's kind of like maybe like you've been dating a girl, dating a guy, whatever, and it's been going well for so long, but then
She starts fucking someone else.
And you find, or maybe not, but you just don't know. This new guy's in town. This new guy's hanging out with your girl, but he might be a friend. He might not be. But you just, it's weird.
Then
She's Nick Khan. He's not a friend. I tell you that.
Next thing you know, she comes home. She's got bleach smelling on her breath, and you're trying to figure out why.
Yeah.
Did any of you see that Nick Khan BT Sports interview that he gave?
I believe I did. Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, he just comes off as a douchebag.
Completely. All they care about is money. Raw should be 4 hours long. SmackDown should be 8 hours long because they can make more and more and more money. Doesn't matter what they put on there because the product's awesome because they've got the best creative people out there. And, basically what he was saying with NXT is we want to make people that are all the exact same. They want a bunch of people that they can just pick one out, put them in there, and that's all they want. They don't want independent. He basically said independent guys we have no need for. We want to build our own guys that do the exact same thing, and women.
So this proves my point. They are an entertainment company.
Yep, totally.
And Nick Khan is looking at this like, okay, think about it when I'm trying to think of a show where the actor left and they had to replace it with a different actor. Dick York. Is that the reference? Am I there? Whatever. An actor leaves the show and they bring someone else in. Same character.
Completely different. Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'm going with.
Yes, thank you.
Go.
Aunt Viv, completely different actress, doesn't even resemble the original Aunt Viv, and they're trying to pass her off as Aunt Viv. That's what they want to do. They basically want to do the whole fake Razor and Diesel thing, but for real.
Oh, yeah, he basically said it outright. Didn't even try to hide it.
Like, did you see the quote that Tony Khan had? Like, I don't have it in front of me, but it was basically like, I'm gonna paraphrase, but it was like, which, like, if you're just going to teach people how to paint by numbers, like, nobody's ever gonna be different.
Mhm.
If you're just teaching everybody to do A, B,
Yep.
C, it's all gonna be the same. Like, okay,
Yep, that's what they want.
you don't want to hire indie guys anymore. You don't want that style of match. Okay, great.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I still feel like if you're counting on, whatever they just hired 13 people, right? Or whatever they gave 13
Yeah.
contracts out.
Correct.
You know what I mean? If you're relying on those 13 people and you're just going to teach them all the same exact thing,
Just
how is
about.
that's, you know what I mean? How is that going to be?
I don't think Dusty would like this.
No. He wouldn't stay there if he was down there still, if that's how they wanted things to go. No way.
Dusty fit in and also did his own thing, and the people respected him.
Mhm.
And there were so many different characters that came from his NXT days to
Yep.
everything.
Mhm.
But there's very talented people that are probably upset now still there, but there's no Dusty, there's no Pat Patterson anymore to kind of say, no, maybe we should do this because this will work.
Exactly. Yep.
Because you have to think too, like, especially those people like Dusty, Pat Patterson. I mean, they came up in the territories.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, if you go to a territory for 6 months, do all you can there, you go somewhere else. I mean, now, you can't have that, but all those people that did that, that's how you improve. It's, I
And
mean,
you don't
I
wear
know,
out your welcome anywhere either.
Right.
So you can go back in a year or two.
it's kind of funny because it's like what's the saying, like, go and learn a new hold.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But that's, it's what you're doing. You learn and
Yep.
you go to different places. I mean,
Right.
I know there's no territories, but at the same time, there's plenty of independents out there. You will probably learn, Southern California, you're going to get more like lucha style, whereas,
Right.
Southern Florida or, Southern East Coast, it's, more of the, give and take, you know what I mean? Like, it's, I think that's what they're not benefiting from. I mean, it's, when you had them trying to be, an independent, I guess, or their version of the indies, it's, you didn't have the larger than life guys, but I also feel like that's because WWE's, stifling everybody like that.
Yep.
But at the same time, it's just, it was entertaining. You know what I mean? It's NXT was way more entertaining than Raw and SmackDown.
For sure.
But because they couldn't beat AEW, now they have to turn into some lunkhead factory that's just.
Plus, they spent all the money too to try to beat AEW, and it didn't happen. So you lost all that money that they put into NXT.
Right.
But what you're saying about everyone doing the paint by numbers there is, look at New Japan when they have their guys go on excursion when they come out of the school. They send one to Mexico, they send one to Great Britain, wherever they go, so they can learn other things, so that they're all not the same guy when they, you could just have them after they're done being a young lion, put them on the main roster. They're all the same guy. That's what the WWE is trying to do. That's why New Japan sends them all over the place. So you learn the Mexican style, or you learn, the hard fighting in UK or wherever. So when they come back, everyone's not the exact same,
Right.
When has the cookie cutter mentality ever worked out in anything?
I don't know.
It really never has. And you can go throughout history. I'm not even going into professional wrestling. You go throughout history.
Sure.
You had stupid armies lining up against each other, like in skirmish lines, just shooting each other. You know what it took? Someone to say this is stupid, do their own thing, and destroy an army with like a handful of guys just fighting out of the woods,
Right.
hidden.
Mm-hmm.
That is where their downfall is going to be. They're going to do this cookie cutter thing. Everyone's going to look the same. Everyone's going to do the same moves, do the same stuff, talk the same way. and it's just going to be stale, and you're going to see AEW, TNA, NWA, New Japan, everybody right now is like, wow, this is different. This is refreshing. You already see it. You already feel like, oh my God, I'm going to turn on Wednesday night because it's new, it's different, it's exciting. This cookie cutter stuff just doesn't work.
Well, it's like I said last week, when they didn't have any competition, and that's when they really started doing the whole cookie cutter, developmentals and stuff was after ECW and WCW were gone. And between like 2003, 2004, like pretty much up until, I'd say 2010-ish, maybe even a little later, but it's like that was some of the most forgettable time in wrestling for me anyway. It was just, like it was all the same. It was just all the same stuff all the time, just big giant dudes. Like, a lot of them now, Hall of Famers, Batista, Randy Orton, John Cena, but it's everything was just the same. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, they're all great. They're good workers, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't even, what Randy Orton match I love the most? The XYZ. Like, that just they're all the same. You know what I mean? It's
pretty close.
Like all just that whole era of just. There was nothing stopping WWE from getting out of their comfort zone.
Sure, exactly.
So they just made all these. Yeah.
Well, there is definitely a comfort zone that the WWE gets into, but then they always either get bailed out or bail themselves out by a moment where The Rock or Austin falls in their lap, and then a Cena falls in their lap.
Sure.
Like it's been brought up, but like the early '90s before the Monday Night Wars,
right, exactly.
WWE was almost out of business on many occasions, and then then it's now a whole thing, and now they're obviously more of an entertainment company. Because it's A in their name, but the match is still going. That tag team match is still going. So they're
wow,
yeah,
good. That should be a 3-hour match. The new 8-hour Raw segments,
right? But I think what's going to happen. Obviously, I don't have the commentary on or anything like that. But I think that. And entertainment wise, I think Logan Paul is going to be having a match at some point in the future.
Oh, fantastic.
He's going to be on.
Which belt is he going to win?
He's going to be on
24/7.
He's
definitely winning the 24/7.
Poor Reggie.
They had he could win the 24/7 belt. He is going to be on Moist TV later. So we'll see. The fact that WWE has Moist TV says to me that there is progress and there might be something ahead to steer the ship. Because if you can have Moist TV on the USA Network, I'm in. Romeo Blue should have had Moist TV.
I just feel like the Miz and more. It's there. I feel like they're at the 2014 like New Day level, where it's like, all right, they're just going to put us together. Let's just be complete meatheads and screw around because obviously we're not going to do anything meaningful. So let's just talk about dripstick and being moist all the time. And but think about it. Like, that's what New Day did. They just stopped caring, started doing whatever they felt like it, and then got over huge. I mean, I don't know if squirt guns are going to get you over huge this day and age, but I mean, New Day made pancakes work for a while.
Sure.
So who knows?
Pancakes always play.
Yeah, I had pancakes this weekend for the first time in a long time.
See?
Were they New Day pancakes?
They whatever they were. If they were Logan Paul pancakes, they were delicious. They were great.
Joey Janela pancakes.
Yeah, they were great. Whoever
he was in Vegas
was.
for a while last weekend.
So speaking of that's another thing I thought was kind of funny about this weekend is I'm watching Rampage on Friday, CM Punk, everybody's going nuts. They're in Chicago, hometown stuff, blah, blah, blah. And I'm on Instagram later in the night and Cole Cabana's posting from the gathering of the Juggalos. Like he wasn't even to me, I think that's hilarious. You know what I mean? Like it's just, you can't even, I mean, I know they're not friends, but at the same time, Chicago's still his hometown too. You know what I mean? Like you could have gave him a match.
Well, he had that booked a while ago. He's got 2 more dates with the Juggalo stuff.
Is that what it is? Maybe that's yeah. Maybe
they sign you to a 2-year contract or 3-year deal. I know they don't run a ton of shows, but they pay him a ton of money to go there. So he was already booked.
Or maybe Tony Khan was like,
well, no, because
you can do it. It's fine.
The first thing I thought of when Punk said that I have some scores to settle with some people in the locker room, and I'm thinking to myself, all right, Mox was around. There's a couple of guys. Colt Cabana was immediately I was like, oh, I could see them putting those two together.
I can't because I don't think Cabana's on Punk's level at this point.
He's not, but people know the story. So it would be more for people like us that would mark out.
And they could work together. They wouldn't have a problem with it.
Yeah. It's kind of like in the Jay and Silent Bob reboot when they would throw a bunch of guys out there just as a reference to other movies. And oh my God, it's that. It'd be the same thing. But oh my God, they don't like each other in real life.
They have to do something at least. Hey, walk by each other in the hallway or something. At least once, just acknowledge themselves. They can't just go without saying anything.
So quick question, side note.
Punk handed him a pink slip.
Quick question, side note. I didn't get to see NXT yesterday. Did Karrion Kross have a mask?
No.
He didn't
have anything. Not even a female with him.
Gotcha.
He's wearing a mask now.
She wasn't cleared to be there anyways. Scarlett's on the DL.
Oh, really?
Something's up with her medicals. I don't know. They're not saying what. She's been out for 4 weeks now. She hasn't been able to go anywhere. Who knows?
A, B, or C.
Maybe she's pregnant now.
Why not
all of them? All three.
Maybe she's pregnant now since they all get pregnant there.
He just came out with a mask. He actually looks pretty cool. The mask is pretty cool. And
did they change his name to just Cross now or something?
No, not yet. He's still Karrion Kross.
Maybe next week.
Crazy Karrion Kross.
Crazy.
Wait, that's not. No, never mind. That's terrible.
So his mask is
too many Ks.
I just thought what that meant.
way too many Ks on that one. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, he just fused with the New Day exclusively.
Oh gosh. Who's that guy that was with?
I really
Elias?
hate trumpets.
Who's the one that was with Elias? Doesn't he hate doesn't he have a whole bunch of political problems?
Jackson
White.
Yeah.
He could be his partner against the New Day.
Oh my goodness.
That'd make compelling television, though.
So that match ended, that 5-hour marathon tag match.
Now Karrion Kross
yeah, must have. And then now they're on commercial, but Karrion Kross came out
against Jeff Hardy.
He looks like an asshole. Sorry. He does. I'm looking at it right here. WWE just posted it. Reveals his new gear. He looks like a dink.
See this.
Well, the mask is a little bit. I mean, it's different, obviously, but it's like that.
He's a gladiator.
Yeah,
it's like a gladiator. It's like Farouk. He looks like
a little bit of that, but
does he wear it while he wrestles? Is the question.
A little bit of that, like big mask that Kane wore.
No. You know what this is? It just doesn't have the leather behind it. This is early Demolition. This is Demolition when they would come and they would take the mask off and the face paint was there and they had the tongue sticking out. That's what this is. It's you know what it is?
It's
I can't
bad.
say it anymore. I can't say the word I want to use.
It's bad.
Which gimmick was that Fatu
Goofy
that had that goofy face mask on too?
Give the G names with a lie. It kind of bailed me out of that one.
Can't remember. Was it
Gooey?
Gooey's another one. It's a little short.
I think it looks right. I mean, they went to commercial 3 hours ago and it still haven't come back. But
Well, Tony Khan wants to make, or Tony and Nick Khan loves to make the money.
Right. He's fighting Ricochet, though, I believe.
Oh, even better.
Flippity flips. That's the T-shirt I want. Is flippity flips.
Just flipping around for no reason. No story involved. He's just going to do a couple of flips, call it a day. It's what they tried to do with Pac when he was there too. They just had him do all these flippity flips. One thing I do like that AEW does too is they are taking the guys that get released by the WWE and they're giving them a chance, an actual chance at grabbing that brass ring. They might not have gotten the chance. Like, Miro always says that, I could never get the brass ring. AEW's given them a chance. They gave Pac numerous chances. He just can't get over. It's at some point you got to look at it and say, it's the guy, not the company.
Yeah, he's just bitter.
If you've been there live at the arenas with him, he gets probably in the top 5 biggest pops each arena he's in. It's crazy how much pops he gets.
It just doesn't translate though, I guess, on the TV.
I guess not for you, but I enjoy everything he does.
Oh, I'm not saying I don't.
It's like
I'm just saying.
Rick hates MJF. I love Pac. I really do. I like everything he does.
Yeah, Pac. I dig Pac.
I have no problem with him. It's just personal. Some people don't like people.
So speaking of
like Goldberg,
speaking of people leaving, right?
Adam Cole.
Yep. I was just there. I don't know if anybody's seen the Young Bucks Instagram and Twitter and stuff. They
put it up at 11:01 last night.
Right. So to me, that leads me to believe if there wasn't any.
Britt Baker also did something a few minutes after as well. Of
it was like a seance, a seance on YouTube, and Britt quote tweeted it and did the eyeball emojis or whatever.
And you saw the picture they put up there on their Twitter.
Yeah, there was like
Ghostbusters.
Yeah, and then they just Kenny Omega just posted from when they killed him on Being the Elite. Mm-hmm. He just posted a picture of Adam Cole, quote unquote, dead.
Because they were saying if he was sticking around that he would be on Raw tonight.
Honestly, though, too, I feel like if he wasn't going to AEW, they wouldn't even. It's like I know they like to troll, but at the same time, I feel like there's like a certain line that they won't cross. If it's not going to happen, there's no need to cross it.
No, they don't want to get him in trouble for anything.
Right.
Vince could see, oh, your guys are making fun of you. All right, they think you're going there. I could see Vince get mad about it.
Right.
And hold Cole responsible.
So that just leads me to believe that he's gone. He's out the door. Especially the way dude handcuffed to the ropes.
Yep.
He had one. I was like,
yep.
What?
Yep.
It just, I don't know. It was the I've never seen that before. That blew my mind. It's like
his no compete clause, there is none because he agreed to stick around till Takeover. So
he literally could be on AEW Wednesday. Yeah,
because Rampage is taped after it, so it's not like you can wait till Friday and debut him on the new show because they're taping it after Dynamite. So people are going to know. I mean, you could debut him on Rampage, but it'd be kind of goofy since everyone's going to know about it 2 days in advance. But it could help your ratings if they want to see it. I'd do it live if I was them, but I don't know. You can't have too many things going down. Is he going to get a match, or at least have him show up? Why not?
So another thing, and I don't know if this was photoshopped or what, but someone posted a picture of CM Punk from Rampage on Friday, and there's on his sneakers, there's the initials AC.
Yes,
on his sneakers.
Those were there.
So I that's kind of.
And the other one, one said AC, the other one said CC.
CC.
I don't know what it means, but one said CC. Yeah,
maybe
he had 2 initials on him. I don't know if it means anything or not.
Claudio Castagnoli.
He's still under contract, right?
I think I don't know. He hasn't been on TV
I
in a while,
haven't
right?
seen him, so that's why I ask. Maybe he got released and never said anything. Who knows? Has he been on since the releases? I don't know.
I haven't seen him. I haven't seen him since Mania.
Now that'd be a shock if you saw him just pop up.
I would love that. He would fit right in AEW.
Oh, for sure. All you need is to bring Chris Hero back.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
All right, guys, just had to say goodnight to my intern.
Oh,
That's
no
fine.
worries.
Not a problem.
And it's I mean, it's weird because it's like you said, it's when is too many surprises too many,
Yeah, right.
but at the same time, you know, I've been hearing Iconics and Ruby Riot or Ruby Soho.
I think
whatever.
she's a lock. The Iconics
Yeah.
I keep hearing back and forth about. I'm not sure about them, but sounds like Ruby's going to be at All Out because they're doing the women's battle royal there,
Casino
and
Battle Royal.
there's 21 spots for it. They're going to leave 4 or 5 open ones, even if they give a one-time shot to a few. Say Santana Garrett gets a one-time shot to see what people do. I mean, they could easily just have her show up.
Right.
You know, hey, she get over. The crowd loves her. All right, we'll bring her back. I mean, they can do a bunch of stuff like that just to see who sticks.
Because
Who
my
people
thing
wanna
is with the Iconics is where they're still in the States. You know what I mean? Like from when they first got released, there was a lot of stuff like, oh, well, if I mean, I don't know if
Peyton Royce is married, so she's fine.
I was saying, I don't know
But
if her situation is
Billy
different.
Kay doesn't, so I don't
I thought
know.
she was married.
She's
Who's that?
married, but she's not married to a U.S. citizen. I think she was married to an Australian,
Right. Mhm.
whereas Peyton
Exactly.
Royce is married to Sean Spears, so
Yeah.
she's okay. But so the fact that she's still in the country, it kind of makes me think something's in place somewhere.
Mhm.
But like I said, it's how you have Ruby Riot, you have the Iconics.
That's why Buddy Murphy hasn't gone anywhere yet, because
I was
he's
just-
trying to get his visa taken care of. They give you, I guess, a certain amount of days if you do work somewhere that you don't just, all right, you have to go back home tomorrow. They give you a certain amount of time. So he had the 30 days. He may have been working with whatever company he's going to get that new visa work, because it's, not WWE anymore. They've got to apply for it and all that. And it's hard.
Well, guys,
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
I worked in IT recruiting for a little while, and I handled a lot of people who had H-1B visas to allow them to work in the country. So
You're an
let
expert.
me get into a quick dissertation of this.
Please do.
Buddy Murphy is still on his non-compete clause, so technically he's still being paid by WWE. So in the eyes of the United States government, he is still gainfully employed living in the United States. So he can run his visa 30 days as the day that non-compete clause ends. So let's say it's September 1st. It's not, but let's say it is.
Sure.
He's got till October 1st to find gainful employment,
Mhm.
or he must either file for an extension or vacate the country.
Sure.
And when was he released? He was in one of those.
May, June?
He was in May, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that would have been what, June, July. So his should have been up now. So yeah, like you said, if that's what it is, he probably has till the end of September or whatever. Like
They'll give you an extension as long as you prove that you are trying to find work, that you're not just, sitting around and being a shiftless layabout. They'll actually, keep you around, give you that extension. Right now, it's kind of hard to get them, at least with the IT people it is.
Mhm. Sure.
But I'm not sure what people from Australia, if it's any different. I can tell you all about people from India.
It's hard to say. Each country is probably a little bit different. I'm assuming.
right.
Yeah.
So especially like the thing with Buddy Murphy is where he did that video, which is great. But I feel like it's so tied in with Malachi Black's. Like it almost. I feel like if he doesn't go to AEW, it's kind of like why
He
why
probably is. I'm sure.
You know what I mean?
Did you see the newest one?
The video they did where
He
he
dropped his
revealed
soap.
his name, right? It's
Yep.
Buddy Matthews now, which
Right.
I don't know
And
why
he's-
you would stick with Buddy. Like I don't know, Buddy is not a very
Murphy was a
intimidating.
cool name. Like change the Buddy to like I don't know,
Right.
maybe Billy Murphy or something.
The only
I don't know,
reason
but
is because
Buddy's dumb.
his name is Matthew. That's the only reason why I can think he went with Matthews. I don't know.
Which is great, you know what I
Matthew
mean? But like
Murphy.
even Matt Murphy would have been kind of cool, like the whole
Yeah.
double M or whatever. But
Well,
yeah,
the first
I
time
don't.
you see him,
Buddy is not.
Yeah, I don't
Buddy's
know.
not. Doesn't strike fear in the hearts of anybody. I don't
No,
think.
no, not at all.
the
He
first
had-
time we see him in AEW, someone could be like, "Oh, hey, buddy."
Yep.
I'm really hoping that he goes back to his old ring gear. I know we were talking about ring gear earlier. The one that like was cut off and flame type of
That's
look. It was
in the latest video.
That was in the video.
Had a
He
box
pulled.
where
He
he
pulled
pulled
up.
that out. Yep.
because it's different.
Mhm.
It's not the same cookie cutter style. It's different. And I
Yep.
hated when he got to the main roster, they changed that.
Right. Yeah, he's
They
going
made it
back to
com-
that look from what it looks like in the video. Yep.
It set
My-
him apart from everybody else.
Oh yeah.
My only thing with him is a lot of his offense was like Kenny Omega light. He did a lot of the knee strikes, a lot of
Mhm.
that. So it'll be interesting to see if he does end up in AEW, if he changes up his style at all, or if he's.
I bet
if-
he will to a certain extent.
He's a
Because you
big
can't have two
guy.
people doing the same stuff.
Right.
He's a big guy. He's jacked out of his gourd.
Yeah.
He's got a good look. He can move. Again, that's why I like AEW. They give opportunities to people who didn't quite get them.
Right.
Let's see if you can run with it. If you can, fantastic. If you can't, you had your opportunity.
Hmm. Right.
I think the intern joined Moist TV, so I'll be
Oh
back.
no. All right. I mean, that's one of the matches they still have to flesh out for All Out is the women's battle royal there. They haven't announced anybody for it. Not that they've announced who Britt's going to wrestle either, or any other women's matches per se.
Bianca Belair.
Might be before too long. Who knows?
It just amazes me how they had an opportunity to carry the ball that AEW handed them Friday night. And it's not like AEW handed them a ball in the sense that they laid an egg Friday nights. They did it. They
Right.
got the wrestling fans so hyped up
Yep.
and gave them a chance to say, okay, remember us? This is what we do too.
Yeah.
And as good of a night as Saturday night was, there was still so many mistakes, so many miscalculations, and
Yes.
just so many things that I just sat there like, this is why real actual fans. And I just made this comparison with a buddy. I was going back and forth text just now. He made the same point I made about how there's all this amazing wrestling, but it doesn't draw as well as the WWE, even though the WWE is struggling in our eyes.
Mhm.
And I said it this way because he asked, is it commonplace, things like that? And I agreed, but I also said, I'm not a NASCAR person by any stretch of the imagination, but there's more racing organizations than just NASCAR.
Yes.
NASCAR is the one that everybody knows.
Hmm.
And it's the same when it comes to wrestling. There are people who do not know a world outside of the WWE,
Sure. Mhm.
and they will watch it religiously and not even think about turning on wrestling anywhere else because it's not real wrestling. Only the WWE is to them.
Mhm.
I mean, how many times have you even just mentioned wrestling and everyone just, like Hulk Hogan? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
Exactly.
There's still a segment of people who still calls it the WWF, and I'm like, dude, that was 20 years ago. Like at some point, you got to move up into this generation. But yeah, I think that's what it is. I think that's why SmackDown still had almost 2 million people watch it Friday night, and I think that's why
Just over
there were
2.
46,000 people Saturday night, and why WrestleMania is selling out in Texas, because there's just people who live and die by the WWE and won't watch anything else. And I think for a lot of others of us, it's old hat. it's familiarity. It's a hope that they're going to go back to what it used to be.
And their biggest drawing demos, the 49 to 64-year-olds.
Yeah. When it used to be the 25 to 40, but we've now all aged into that next demographic.
Well, the funniest thing is the ratings came out today for both shows, and the demos were almost equal for Rampage and SmackDown. It was a 0.57 for SmackDown, and it was a 0.56 for Rampage. And Rampage won all the 18 to 49, everyone, like not even close. And in Chicago, it did a 1.9 million with a 6.6 demo, which is like out of this world for Rampage. Out of this world.
For a show, for a 1 hour show on a Friday
at 10
night
o'clock,
10.
don't forget. That's huge. I mean, overall, it did 1.13 and a 0.53 overall, but in Chicago, the numbers were wild.
So Scarlett, who obviously we talked about earlier not being on TV, just tweeted something out a little while ago.
That her husband looks like a dummy.
It looks like she's going the Liv Morgan gimmick, where they tried to make Liv Morgan be like this sexy diva in her bathtub. Because it's the same deal where she goes, "Tell me, can you keep a secret?" And then it's her, like, in fact, I'll just show the crowd here. Hold on.
I can't see it. It's very bright.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well,
that's all right.
Her tits are hanging out. And,
nice.
But yeah, it looks like they're going to try to do the whole failed Liv Morgan gimmick that they tried to throw on her before they had the Riot Squad reunion. Which, by the way, you get rid of Ruby. I said this months ago. Liv Morgan struggling again on her own. You don't have Ruby to pair her with a third time.
Well, after since Money in the Bank, has she even been on TV since then?
Nope. She sure makes sure that she tweets out every Monday, Friday, and pay-per-view night.
Well, it's, as you're saying, the thing that for whatever reason I just don't get is every time they build somebody up that's a new person, what do? They go back to Charlotte, they go back to Becky, they go back to Roman. They all win in the long run. You don't build any. Every time you build somebody up, they squash them.
Yep.
It never changes. Vince always goes back. What do? Bring Brock back instead of elevate somebody.
Yeah.
Wonderful. They're saying they're going to feud till the Royal Rumble now. Wonderful.
How about you elevate Keith Lee? How about you do something with him? But no.
No. He has to learn how to wrestle first. Vince is still stuck on that. He doesn't know how to wrestle routine. That's why he's doing dark matches every week. Yep, he's redefining what he's supposed to work. Basically, he wants him to do a certain style now because he's a big guy, and Keith doesn't. He flies around and he does other things. They don't like that, so they're trying to redefine Keith. We'll see how long he lasts. Does he fall in line or not? It's simple. If he falls in line, he'll stick around and they'll do something. If he doesn't, he'll show up at Full Gear or Revolution next year.
Yeah, it's.
No, we can't hear you, Russ.
Right now, Logan Paul has got on to Moist TV, and it's there's massive crowd reaction to it all. Obviously booing him, but it looks like the segment's working.
Where's the show tonight? Do you know?
San Diego.
Okay.
But they're booing him out of the building, kind of thing. But and the Miz is trying to the Miz is in on it, and it looks interesting. I don't know what they're saying, but
sure.
I had the volume up, and it looks like they're John Morrison and the Miz are breaking up.
Uh-oh.
I think in that case, I think that's, I don't know, guys. I gotta go sit in a dark room somewhere and rock back and forth, ripping my hair out, crying hysterically.
You have a boiler near you somewhere?
Bang, bang. Well, I think we did it.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Through the Table podcast with Tom, Rick, Russ, JL, and Brian. Catch us on Twitter and Facebook. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Till next time.